get this going.
All right. Well, I am so excited. Welcome, ladies. I know there's going to be more people coming on these next few minutes, but we are so excited to share all of these fun things with you tonight. So thank you for investing this next hour with us. It's going to be hope-filled. It's going to be inspirational. It's going to be fun. I'm hoping Dawn doesn't start crying because my eye makeup looks way too good for tears at this moment. But can't make any promises about that.
Waterproof mascara. I've been telling you, it's the trick.
Yes, so you say. Or just don't cry. I think that's a better option. But we're so excited, and we have an amazing MC. Karen Rydell is going to be our MC today. And you guys, seriously, she has my favorite wall in the entire world sitting right behind her. So for consultants, you can see and guess all of those plaques are because she's led her unit each year to sell at least over $300,000 of Mary Kay products. And most of Karen's are 500,000, 650 and above. And she has pictures of the dresses that she got to wear across stage so that she remembers every single year. So I think that makes her one of my favorite people in the world. But besides that, she is one of the wisest women that I've ever had the privilege of calling a friend. So I'm so excited to have her as our MC tonight and kick off this amazing hour.
Oh, Alden, thank you so much. I love my wall too. And you forgot to mention hair colors and hairstyles, right? Because that changes too from year to year. So, well, thank you, Alden. I have been waiting all day. Have you been waiting all day for this conversation? You guys don't even know how awesome this conversation is going to be. So hello to all of you out there. Hey, why don't you just throw your name in the chat? You can tag your consultant or just give a shout out to your consultant. Maybe tell us where you're from. We would love to just see who is out there. Hopefully it's our coffee chat. So hopefully you have coffee or your beverage of choice so that you can just cheers with us. And I just want to ask you to exhale the day. Just exhale the day. You know, this is going to be the most positive 45 minutes to an hour of your day. You're going to be inspired. You're going to be empowered. You might cry, hope not, Alden, but you might cry, you might laugh. It's just going to be a feel-good time together with the most amazing, powerful women. You're going to love them. So I just want you to exhale stresses. If you're around kids, like go into the bathroom, go into your bedroom, whatever you got to do to get away from distractions and just soak this in. To all of our guests out there, welcome. We just love sharing the power of pink with you. So thank you for being on. It's a huge compliment if you were invited to this because your consultant thought enough of you to say, yes, I want her to be here for this special conversation. So a shout out to each of our guests. You could do a little wave or you can put a little heart. You can go down to the responses and do a little heart if you want to show us that you're a guest, but we so appreciate you. So tonight is about the power of pink. Let me share it with you, you guys. This is tonight, the power of pink. And it's not just, oh yeah, Mary Kay, pink, right? No, you guys, Mary Kay or pink is way more than a color. You know, we often say it's an attitude, it's a mindset, but it's more than that. It's a culture, it's a legacy, it's a sisterhood. And I really believe you're going to see that tonight. Now, the really special part about tonight is that it's not just from one leader or even two leaders, it's across two different generations, 4 amazing leaders in this company and some of my dearest friends. And I cannot wait to share them with you. You're going to meet them in just a minute. You may have been hearing them for a little while here in our conversations, but you're going to get to meet them up close and personal in just a minute. But I thought it would be really fun, since we are talking about a mom and daughter and an aunt and a niece, I thought it would be really fun to look a little bit at their journey before you hear a little bit about their story. So, okay. You're going to love these pictures. Okay, so let's just check it out. So, okay, we're going to be meeting Dawn Otten-Sweeney and Cindy Grest, who you see here. We've got Dawn right here, and we've got Cindy right here, and they're with Mary Kay Ash, the founder of our company. And so these women have been building their business across the years and can totally tell you about the power of pink throughout their journey. But there's more to this journey that does span the generations. Check out Cindy. You know, we're talking hairstyles, hair colors, clothes, right? Trends. This is Cindy and her first pink Cadillac. And then look right next to her, her niece, Rachel Statiel. Look at her, 21 years old, you guys, and earned her pink Cadillac in her senior year of college. Look at that face, you guys. How exciting that these two women truly have experienced the power of pink. Love this. Okay, let's see who else. Okay, so check it out. Now this is cute Otten-Sweeney Wido, you guys. Look, she's already got her purse. She is ready to be a Mary Kay girl, right? And this is Dawn's I don't know if it's her first, but one of her first pink Cadillacs, because it's a big one. So it was a while ago. And then look, here's Alden at 21, 22 years of age, picking up her first pink Cadillac. So again, check out the legacy of pink, the power of pink that's in this family as well. Okay, now this is Rachel. I'm going to guess 6, I don't know, 5, 6, maybe. Rachel is on stage in Dallas, Texas for a seminar where her aunt, Cindy, is being appointed as a national sales director. You have some talking or TV, so if you want to mute, that would be awesome. But there's Rachel. She's experiencing the power of pink, watching her aunt step into the highest position of Mary Kay. Really love the legacy of pink and the power of pink. Check this one out. Here is Dawn Otten-Sweeney on the throne at seminar in Dallas. Ladies, for guests, that means that she led her unit to over $1 million in sales. She was the top director in the entire seminar. There's her husband, Larry, her son, and look at this, Alden. And do you see the tiara? I think it's prophetic. Alden, get ready. A tiara is coming your way for sure. The power of pink, like Dawn is advertising the power of pink to her family right there in that memory, that precious memory for sure. And then here is Alden with her wedding. Look at the lineup of pink Cadillacs in front of that church. And Alden shared with me, she picked up her Cadillac right around this time and was able to leave the wedding with her cute new husband in a pink Cadillac. The power of pink, you guys. I love it. And then check it out. Rachel, totally celebrating the achievement of graduating from college, but also the achievement of being a pink Cadillac sales director and following in her aunt's footsteps. The power of pink has been passed over and over again in Mary Kay to women, but this is special tonight because this is in the family. And the power of pink is changing lives, and it's changing families, and it's changing generations. And so tonight, you're going to get an up-close conversation with these 4 incredible women. And so I'm going to ask them to just share a little bit tonight with you about their journey. But first, let's meet them. Okay, so first off, we're going to meet our 2 national sales directors. Okay, now, just for the guest to get perspective, every woman here is important and huge, right? But I'm telling you right now, you're going to meet top leaders in Mary Kay, top leaders who have impacted generations of Mary Kay with their leadership and their legacy of excellence. And so first off, let's meet Senior National Sales Director, Cindy Gress, as she shares with you where she lives, where she was when Mary Kay found her, how long she's been building her business. Cindy, introduce yourself to everybody.
Hi, everyone. Good evening. I'm so excited you're here. I live in Mannequin-Stadt, Virginia. I think that's the first time I've said that officially in the Mary Kay world. I used to say for years Essex Fells, New Jersey, because that's where I am originally from, and that's where Mary Kay found me. I was born and raised in New Jersey, which is why you saw the New Jersey hair next to my pink Cadillac. And so that's where I was. When Mary Kay found me, I was an insurance broker for a brokerage house called Johnson and Higgins in New York City, right off of Wall Street. And I was working 3 part-time jobs. And my ex-boyfriend's mom, who didn't really like me, but was trying to get her red jacket, recruited me.
I love that. Now, how many years ago was that?
So that is going to be 1990. So what is that? 32? 32 wow. Years. August 22nd, it'll be 32 years.
I love it. I love it. I'm so glad she asked you and that you said yes. Wow. Okay, let's meet National Sales Director, Dawn Otten-Sweeney, another huge big deal in the Mary Kay world for her excellence in leadership. Dawn, tell everybody about you and your beginning.
You're a really good Oprah, Karen. You're good. You're good at this. Okay, so ironically, tonight, 35 years ago, I was invited to a Mary Kay guest event. So it may be some of the women who are on the line right now. I was with a new consultant. Debbie Moore was a director, and I had been sitting in a mall doing competitive shopping report, thinking about my monthly bills here and my income here. Even though I had just graduated from business school at the University of Michigan, had this great job that I come to find out was 80-hour a week, just like it was one of those companies, they try and kill you the first year. And if you survive, you have great promotability. Well, I was at the tail end of the first year of survival and did not want to do that again, but the choice was going back and getting my master's, because that was the late 80s and the economy wasn't a lot different than it is right now. Huge inflation, high gas prices, a war over in the Middle East, a lot of like social unrest in the country too. And so I knew I'd be going back to school, but I did need to figure out how to pay off my visa bills. And I don't know if any of you have ever experienced this. When you have credit card debt, it seems like you never get out of it. It's like every month you think, I'm going to get ahead, and you're making minimum payments, and then another expense comes up, and you just feel like you're getting deeper and deeper, dug into a hole. And I saw the women I was being groomed for, and I didn't want their lives. I mean, in the late 80s, a woman who wanted to be successful in corporate America really was doing it at the expense of her health, her marriage, and her kids, because they owned you if they're going to pay you a six-figure income. And so I'm sitting in a mall doing a competitive shopping report. Debbie Moore, is now a retired Mary Kay national and icon all over the world in Mary Kay. I didn't know that then. I just saw this sharp woman walking through a mall, making Nancy Murata come and talk to me, because Nancy was really shy. And her family and friends were not supportive of her Mary Kay business at all. And she asked me to be a face model for her Mary Kay portfolio. Debbie was training her. So some guest here, you're helping a new consultant with her training. And so she came to my apartment, me and my roommate had a facial. She did our before and after pictures to go in like a photo album, not on your phone, I think it was a Polaroid camera, if you even know what that is. And then I went to a guest event and I saw what you're seeing right now, women telling their stories of where Mary Kay intersected their life. And I loved it. I love that I saw 18-year-olds and I love that I saw 80-year-olds. I love that I saw some were outgoing, some were shy, some were, really into makeup, some were not so much. Some had PhDs, some had GEDs, but I love this culture. I was excited to come on tonight because after 35 years, do not tire of this culture. I wanted to be with those women because they were very different than the women that I worked with. And so it was an event like this. It caught my heart. And again, I will cry because if you're a guest here, I was the guest that was thinking, I don't have $100 in my checking account. I wrote a post-dated check, which is now illegal. You can't float money like that anymore. And I think looking back 35 years, please, 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 if there's something about this that catches your head or heart, don't let $100 or $130 come between you and what this could be, because I would have lost millions, but more important, I would have lost relationships on this screen.
Wow. Well, happy anniversary. So glad you said yes. And so glad that you have continued your journey in the power of pink. I love this. And if anybody can cry it to you, Dawn, it's your anniversary. It's part of the purpose of celebrating an anniversary. Well, let's meet Dawn's daughter. Alden, you met Alden at the beginning. Alden is a pink Cadillac sales director in Mary Kay, as you saw, and leading a strong unit. What a great leader. Alden, share with everybody where you were when Mary Kay found you.
So, when Mary Kay found me at the hospital when I was born, basically, I came home from the hospital in a pink Cadillac. But when it found me, when I started and chose to invest my time and talents into a Mary Kay career was when I was 19. I was a sophomore in college studying business, and I live in Michigan, so I was at Western Michigan University, and I had no idea what this was going to be for me. I really just wanted a free car, and I knew you could get those in Mary Kay. So that's what I started for, and obviously, I think July 19th will be 9 years I feel so old. 9 years in Mary Kay, but it's been such a fun and blessed journey, for sure.
Absolutely. And just so you know, you're not old. You're good. Okay. So don't worry.
We
So
actually
Alden and
can say
Dawn.
9 years, Alden. We're going to take you out, smack you around just a little bit.
And so Alden and Dawn are up in Michigan. And so that's how those two are a part of tonight. Now let's meet Rachel Statiel. Rachel is a Pink Cadillac sales director. She's an executive senior sales director. Meant to mention Alden is a senior sales director. And so both are leading leaders, which I absolutely love. Rachel, I know people want to know, where were you when Mary Kay found you?
Yeah. So, wow, rude. Okay. So, I was also 19. I was a second semester freshman, and I'd always been around Mary Kay because of my aunt. Her house was pink at one point, y'all. I don't know if you knew that, but her house was pink at one point, to match her Cadillac. So I was broke as a joke, and I think she knew that, but she wasn't gonna like tell me that she knew that. You know what I mean? And so at the time, though, just to give you all like some perspective, I did not know where my next meal was coming from because I paid for all of my school by myself. And so I would actually go to the food pantry at Stockton, which was my school, to get my food. And actually I have Kayla, who is my former college roommate who gave me meal swipes. So Kayla, thank you for feeding me. I appreciate you and thank you for being on. I love you. So I actually went to this conference. My aunt invited me and she was like, listen, I'll give you $100, just come, just be my assistant. And ironically, $100 was the cost of the starter kit. But she was like, I'll pay you $100 if you just come. You can grab coffee for us. You can take pictures. So I was like, okay, fine. Now it's actually embarrassing how like I was so like, nope, I'm not doing Mary Kay. Like I'm not doing it. It's not for me, not my thing. Because I was 19 and I knew all that. So we went. And I really was like blown away by all the free cars because at the time I was driving a 2003 Chevy Impala with no heating and no air conditioning. And it was not a good thing. So that's why I signed my agreement and it's just been crazy. It's been craziness. So yes, that's where I was, full-time college student. And actually, I didn't even realize because you worked 3 part-time jobs and I was also working 3 part-time jobs and in school. And I didn't realize that we were working the same amount of part-time jobs. So
true. Right. Yeah. Right. So the power of pink, you guys, look at what's happening to women's lives, women's connections with other women. It's just so inspiring. I absolutely love it. Now, Rachel kind of alluded to this and when she was just sharing with us, but I want to know for everyone else, and Rachel, you can kick back in if you want, but did you know Mary Kay was for you right away? Like when you were first listening, when you first found out about it, Alden, I know you grew up with it, but, I just want you each to reflect on when it was offered to you. Did you know it was for you?
You know what?
I think you can start as
I got to say this because it's so funny because we have both things here. I say all the time, the only people who go to kindergarten and say, I'm going to be a Mary Kay beauty consultant when I grow up are children of sales directors and national sales directors. No one else thinks that this is ever happening in their life. It's just so alien and so unconventional. And so you just kind of have to have that kind of mind to be like a little bit of a pioneer. You have to have a slightly pioneeric spirit. But there's a safety net that I appreciated. Like I kept saying to myself, I could never have been Mary Kay Ash. You know what I mean? Where I like made up the thing, started the thing, got the thing going, my idea kind of, I could never have done that, but I could stand under the umbrella and the safety of the umbrella that she started. Right. So no. And I think, I told my consultant, she started going over, how Mary Kay worked and she started talking about cars and stuff. I said, listen, I don't win cars. I'm not I go to like, stuff at school and everybody wins stuff. I don't win. I'm not a winner. Could you imagine? You're like killed in Mary Kay for saying that. You know what I mean? But I actually said that about myself. I'm not a winner. I don't win. And I literally, my self-esteem and self-confidence was so low when I joined this company. The only place that I could see myself was getting my product at a discounted price. I could breathe at that level. And that is mentally where I stepped in.
Mhm. Mentally, I love that.
So I
Wow.
still
Okay,
remember-
Dawn, what about you?
I can remember being at that guest event. And so my self-confidence and self-esteem was low, but I called that shy at that point in time. And what I realize now is that I was scared of what other people thought. It was major people approval. I like to do well in school. I like to do well in a job. And so you're kind of scared with this because like, what if it doesn't work out? And this right now, when people start, you're not really starting anything unconventional. People brag about side hustles. In the 80s, people didn't brag about a side hustle. Everyone was pretending they had enough money, although they had the car and the house and they had this much debt. They didn't talk about needing any more money. No side hustles were talked about. And so I remember sitting at that event and it was, part of me was going, oh my gosh, like I want to be one of those women that felt comfortable in her own skin, and she could be different than the person next to her, different with how she dressed, different than her personality, and still felt comfortable in her own skin. But then on the other side, I'm going, well, my friends think, I know my parents aren't going to be, happy about this because they were very traditional. And I like what Cindy was saying about being a pioneer, because I think a pioneer is kind of a rebel. It's like they think outside the box. And I'll stick with God's rules. I'll stick with the Constitution of the United States. But if it's a rule for the sake of being a rule, like you have to go 4 years to college because your family did, even if the economy doesn't support it, like those are the things I rebel against. And so there was something attractive about this because it was people who were saying, you know what? Like, even though this is not what I ever thought that I'd do, I gave it a shot and I love it. And I'm like, what a great way to live, that I could get up every day. And I still do. I get up every day excited about what's going to happen. I'm excited every month. I'm excited about who's going to be on this, who's going to hear this recording afterwards. I wanted what they had, but I was so scared. And this journey has been a process. My daughter is a very different young woman than I was at that age because I'm a different mom. Because of the process of this business, it put me in front of women who are actually in the Word. I had never seen people read the Bible before, like at church, the priest or pastor, but it was a denomination that you kept the Bible at there. Like it was the church's Bible. It wasn't your home Bible. And people writing in it in a Bible, I'm like, oh, that is against the rule for sure. Now I love writing in my Bible. But I had to go through a process. Like if anyone's thinking I couldn't do this, I couldn't sell something, I'm grateful, because if I wouldn't have stayed in Mary Kay, I still would have been a better mom and human being and business person because of the training and the people I was exposed to. Like that's priceless. Some people come into this for just a reason or a season, or we've chosen to be in it for the long haul. But any of those, I've never seen anyone worse for the wear. And so I saw that this, I would have to take you're going to have to take training in anything that you do to get better. In this, it's part of our culture. So women who like to grow and like to be sharpened and transformed, I think naturally are attracted to this. And definitely women who, they're not afraid to think outside the box. And I think if the pandemic's done anything, it's taught all of us the necessity of thinking out of the box and pivoting quickly.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Alden, do you have any thoughts on that?
Yeah, so I used to, when people would ask, are you going to do Mary Kay when you grow up? And I would roll my eyes and say no. And I did have the intense eye roll. And my mom would always be like, you don't need the eye roll. Like, just cut the eye roll, just say no and be done with it. Like, cut it out. But I grew up in Metro Detroit, and I saw in 2008, that's when I was in high school, I saw devastation in people's families because of job loss. And I saw that my family wasn't affected like that because of the stability of my mom's Mary Kay business. And that is when I said, I think I'm going to stop rolling my eyes for this. Not all of the things. For this, I'll stop rolling my eyes. And I think I will invest in this because I liked that control. And I liked that I saw that she was able to invest in a safe place and her gifts and talents were used to impact women's lives and families' lives, and it wasn't taken away because of the economy, stockholders, or anything else going on. And so the control part of me was like, screw everything else. Like, I will do this just so I can have that control. And also too, and people ask like, oh, you just got into this because your mom got into this. But I think, and I'm sure Rachel could say the same thing, like, we intentionally chose this because we saw the fruit. Because, you know, if there was no fruit and, you know, it was kind of like a social media front where people think it's all great on the outside, but the backside is like a disaster, we wouldn't have decided to do this. And so I loved all the fruit. I loved the lifestyle. I loved all of it. It was just being willing to, you know, start fresh and do it myself. So it was kind of like a mixed bag of those things, but I always want people to know, like, this was very much a choice. You know, like Rachel and I said, like, we chose this. It wasn't like you have to do this kind of thing.
Right. Rachel, anything else you want to share about that?
Yeah, I would say the same thing. Like, I always had it in my life, but I never thought, like, it was never even a thought in my brain, which is weird, right? Because you would think like, maybe I would think about doing it, but it was never even like a thought in my brain. And I think it wasn't a thought in my brain because I didn't think I would be good at it. And I thought that you had to be a people person, or you had to know a lot of people, and you had to be confident. And I wasn't any of those things. I was very insecure, very shy, like, did not like talking to people. I knew like 5 people. So I didn't really think it'd be something for me because I didn't think I would be good at it. Not necessarily like I didn't want to do it, if that makes sense. But I love this so much because we have all different types of people, and there are really, you know, talkative and, you know, high energy and like very much extroverted people, but we also have very introverted, very like, you know, internal people too. So, and I love that both can succeed here. Like, you don't have to be a mold of a person. So,
I just because we're kind of doing the mother-daughter, and Rachel and I kind of have a mother-daughter relationship, but Karen, I'll tell you, at the time that Rachel signed her agreement, she was going to the hospital for anxiety at least once a month. And Alden, to your point about the control, think about it. You're 21 and you're in a food bank feeding yourself, right? That's got to be like, what is going to happen to my life? What's going to happen to me? Can I eat? And Mary Kay she has not been to the hospital at all, but thank God, but for anxiety since she signed her Mary Kay Beauty agreement. That's powerful. That's powerful.
That gives me hope. That is powerful.
Yeah. Well, and that is a message that, I'm sorry, in this economy and with what's going on, a lot of people need to hear that. Like, consultants, invite your customers to come to your Mary Kay events. I don't care if they don't start Mary Kay businesses. They need to be on a Zoom with you and see women who are hopeful, and that there is a reason to be excited, and that there are like different choices you can make, and just seeing things from different vantage points than the news, the newspaper, or what their world looks like right now. Like, that's a way we can serve women through our product and our opportunity, which is what Mary Kay intended it to be.
Yeah, enriching women's lives. Yeah. Okay, so I want to ask Dawn and Cindy a question. I want to ask you, what is it that excites you the most when you think of your daughter and your niece's future in Mary Kay, or just their future? What is it that excites you because of the power of pink?
Dawn, you want to go first on this one?
Sure. You know, when I started this business, I definitely started for the income, the 5-carat diamond rings, the trips. Like, I was all into that. And I remember Mary Kay Ash saying at my first leadership conference that in her company, P&L stood for people in love. And I remember thinking, they didn't really talk about that at the University of Michigan Business School. I'm pretty sure it's profit and loss, but that's, nice that she thinks that. I'm not going to argue with her, but you guys, she really believed it. Yeah. And she built this company on it. And you make different choices when your bottom line is people in love. And I've never had a job before that I'd want my daughter, even around my coworkers, no less, be in it herself.
Yeah.
And so I love that we can do it together. I love that I was 23 and I've walked through this with women ahead of me, you know, that were wives first, were moms first, were, you know, maybe divorced or widowed or grandmothers first. I've loved that part of this business. And I love that my daughter is going to be the beneficiary of that. And then the one turning around and passing it on to other women as she goes through the journey. I love the baton passing. I love the legacy piece of it. Because again, there's nothing else that I have done or I've seen, honestly, because all of us have interviewed thousands and thousands of women over the years. I've never seen something that I love myself and has served me well, but I know will serve my daughter just as well, and her kids, my grandkids, and then their grandkids, on and on and on.
Yeah.
Wow.
I think as you were talking, Dawn, I was thinking, you know, first of all, let's just take a moment and dissect the fact that we want to share with our blood this amazing company. Just think about what that speaks to in terms of the integrity of this business and how it really works. You know, there's so many actors who are like, no, I don't want my kid to go into acting. There's, you know what I mean? Like truly, we know the underbelly and we're like, come. So as you asked the question, Karen, I think why I paused was because my answer for Rachel is my same answer for Alden, which is my same answer for every Mary Kay beauty consultant on the Zoom. And the thing I'm most excited about is because I know what your future can hold. I know the experiences that you're going to have. I know the internal greatness that's going to come out of you that I couldn't find another vehicle that would have gotten by the time I retire at 65, Mary Kay will have squeaked out every ounce of greatness that I could have had in those 65 years. And I don't know too many women, and Dawn, you can say amen if you know this to be true, but I know to be true that when national sales directors are talking about retiring at 65, they're having a part two. Like at 65, we're like, okay, so now what am I gonna do? I'm gonna, like, no one, you know, I'm already thinking about it. I'm 58, I'm thinking about it, right? So most of my friends are like, oh, please, Jesus, can I retire? When will this end? I want that. I want that for people. I remember being curious about watching, now I'm going to date myself, but at the time people were going for gold medals in the Olympics. Nadia Comaneci, wrong sport. Nancy Kerrigan and that whole other crazy thing with that blonde girl who went a little nuts. And they were like, you know, and then there was Michelle Kwan. And I remember thinking, what is wrong with my life that I don't have anything that makes me want to go to a rink at 5 a.m. in the morning? I want that kind of passion in my life, to get up at 5 a.m. in the morning and want to be on cold ice and possibly break my leg and my neck and freeze my patootie off. I want that kind of passion in my life. And I found it in Mary in the most the craziest place, the place I never thought I was going to find it. When I signed my agreement, I didn't connect those two things. But, you know, Karen, my grandfather said something, and God rest his soul, he had passed before I even did Mary Kay, and he was a salesperson. And the same thing as Rachel, I looked at him, I was like, wow, I could never do that. I mean, he literally knocked on doors. And he said, the only way you fail is to not try. Because when you try, you end up with one of two results. It either wasn't for you, or you found something amazing about yourself that you didn't know. So the only way to fail is to try. And that gave me that little bit of courage, like that had been ingrained in me, like, okay, at least try. At least cross Mary Kay Cosmetics off your list. At least say, okay, that did not work. You know what I'm saying? But to have this kind of opportunity and not try it, I mean, serious, what are we talking? We're talking about cars, we're talking about trips, we're talking about diamonds, we're talking about all this crazy surface stuff, which is amazing. We're talking about paychecks, which Dawn's and my paycheck have been over 30,000 in a month, almost reaching 40, right? 40,000. What the heck? I don't even know what I did with it. Don't ask me. And then that's all that surface stuff. And what have we been fascinated about? The internal growth, the pioneer spirit, the how we grew, the relationships. So you get the whole kahuna.
Yeah.
Mm,
Well, I will say
everything.
amen, amen. And Kieran was saying something, and I don't know. I know Rachel was talking about you don't have to be cookie cutter, but in our United States, think about it, you guys. Most people work to retire. Like they're working so they can retire. And so Cindy and I are the same age. And so you're at this age that people are like, so when are you retiring? And I'm like, why do you keep asking that? Like, I know what I do. They need to make me leave. And there will be a part two because I'm not going to sit around and watch TV and do nothing else or play golf or whatever. You guys, retirement. I mean, that is one of those things you may want to push up against. Like some people are like, oh, they're gonna have to work longer because what's going to happen with their portfolios during this, whatever is going to happen in this economy. It's like, in the Bible, there's no retirement. No one retired. When you were done, God brought them to be with him and you were retired.
True.
That's when you retired. Bye-bye, you're with Jesus. That's retirement. And so, you'll also notice though, when you see women, the national sales directors, they look great. Like they look great. It's a great product, but you guys, it's how you live your life. When you're excited about getting up every morning out of bed and you're living with passion, you're excited about the future versus dreading going into work because you have to get tenure or you have to put one more year into that school, another year at the hospital before you can retire. You guys, that's drudgery. That is a rut. Mary Kay used to say, a rut is a grave without ends. So if you're in a rut, we'd love to invite you out because it is a far more exciting way to live. And I think that, there's a lot of people, on antidepressants and dealing with anxiety right now. It's because they have no hope. Where there is no vision and no hope, people perish. And that is not a problem in Mary Kay because even as a national sales director, there's still things for us to work for. Now we're building offspring. Cindy already has an offspring national. So, that's what I'm fast on her tail with. It's like building offspring nationals and securing this company's future. It's just a fun way to live that Mary Kay's given us an opportunity to be part of.
It's awesome stuff.
It is.
Well, and that's when I think about the power of pink. Like that's what we're talking about. It's the mindset. It's the light. It's so much more than a pink Cadillac or pink lipstick, right? It's just so much more. And hopefully you all are starting to see really the power of pink in the lives that we live. So, okay, now let's ask Alden and let's ask Rachel a question. I want to know, what do you love about your mom or your aunt's career and life that you wanted? Like either now or earlier when you were watching them. Like what is it that you love about the life that they've created with Mary Kay? Who wants to start?
So is that fine, Rachel?
Go. You can go first.
Okay. So I think for me, what I grew to value was that she was able to create a very high level career, like very, very high level career, but it was not at the expense of anything for our family, where I didn't see that in other people's lives. I thought more flip-flops, like you kind of like had your high level career and, all of the perks that came with that, and everything else was kind of at the expense. But I got to see a mom that could achieve high level things, have really great impact and influence in women's lives, but it wasn't at the expense of being at my brother and I's games or, being there for the things that were needed. Honestly, she was there more times and sometimes I'm like, could you just not be here, please? Like, what the heck is going on? But it was definitely a blessing in hindsight. But that's something that I valued because I got to see, like, you could have your cake and eat it too. And that's really what all of us want, especially women. Like, you don't want to, exchange a paycheck for lack of time with your own child or, having to do things differently. So I valued that. But honestly, you guys, I valued that I saw like work hard, get rewards.
Yeah.
Like I am very much like work is not a bad word in my world. And I am so thankful for that, especially in a time such as this. Work is a very good thing. And I am so thankful that I learned those lessons and saw them played out in front of me. so that I could see like from experience, like you work hard and you get what you want versus like it being handed to you. So that was kind of like what I, you know, valued the most in it. And I saw that it could be duplicatable and I could give it to other women. So it wasn't like, I've got this great job, I've got this great car, all of these things, these diamonds, and like, sucks to suck, you can't have it. I was able to say like, come too. Like, we want you here with us too. Like, you can do it too. And it's not a competition. So that's really what I like.
You know, one of the things I love about what you said is whenever I talk to a mom about starting a Mary Kay business, I say to them, you don't even realize the impact you're going to have on your kids who are watching you build a business from home. And that's kind of what you were alluding to is, you know, you saw her be there, you saw her work hard, you saw her reach for goals, you saw her miss goals, you had a front row seat to her business. Whereas most kids just know now there's some working at home virtually, but they don't really know what that means. And I know what did Mary Kay always say? More is caught than is taught. And I know that you took so much from that. So Rachel, what about you? When you look at your Aunt Cindy's life, what is it that you are look forward to?
So I loved the peace and the security, because like whenever I would walk into her house, it was like, just lovely. Like, and you would think, you know, a person running $1 million unit and then a multi-million-dollar national area, you know, that it would be like crazy, but it's like, it's not. Like, she was always kind of what Alden was saying, like she was always able to do things she wanted to do. I remember thinking, like, when I was younger, I was like, wow, Aunt Cindy really doesn't work. And I was like, oh wait, no, she has a job. That's actually false. She earned that pink Cadillac. So I just remember, you know, and I remember I think I was like 3 or 4, and she took me out to, we called it like our Princess Day. And so she took me into New York City, and, you know, we had tea. And it was just like a kind of like a fairy tale, what it felt like. So I loved that peace and that safety and that security. And I knew I wanted that. I just didn't realize that Mary Kay would give me that until, you know, I signed my agreement. But yeah, that was the biggest thing.
I love it. I love seeing Cindy's face too, you know, and just seeing, like, remembering those moments, and just, again, the power of pink and what it's doing to change.
Where I took her, I didn't even know to take her there. You know, we were kind of chatting before. I have my little teacup here. I'm a big high tea fan. And I took her to the oh gosh, I can't remember. It's now condos in New York City on Central Park.
No.
Anyway, I took her to this place that I didn't know to take her. My first Star Consultant prize was high tea at the Helmsley Palace. And Mary Kay elevated me in places that my family did. My grandmother did an amazing job. My grandmother took us on these things called surprise rides, and we went to Luchow's, and we went to like all these, you know, the Russian tea room and all these great things. And Mary Kay kept that going. When my grandmother passed, I missed that. And she took us to places, which we don't have time now tonight because we're running out and we have to wrap it up. But she elevated my brain. What is the name of that hotel now? Somebody has to tell me or I'm going to die.
Plaza.
The Plaza. Thank you, Alden.
The Plaza. Oh yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
So it's now closed because it's now condos, and she has that now in her little mini pocketbook of that experience. And we just people watched, and it was awesome. I love that too about Mary Kay. Thank you for bringing that part up, Rachel, because that's a little part that I think we don't ever really talk about.
Well, and that needs to be a conversation.
Yeah.
Oh, go ahead.
That definitely is a conversation, because anyone on the screen, you don't have to be a national sales director or a trip director. Like, if your life needs some cash flow to provide those things for your children or grandchildren or a neighbor or the daughter, you know, or son of a single mom, or, you know, people who have lost their jobs during this pandemic, we can always sell more product. And you could make money and create those, pay for their birthday party, pay for their soccer team. You know, when this business gives you, once you buy your starter kit and get a consultant number, you no longer can say you can't afford something. You can say you're unwilling to work for it, but if you see a need and you'd like to fill it, but there's not enough money in your account, Mary Kay could be the vehicle to span that gap not just for your family, but I mean, Cindy was doing this for her niece. I mean, that's not her daughter, that's her niece. Like it could be a neighbor, and the impact that that had on Rachel's life, like that expanded. It gives you space to move into dreams. Mary Kay gave us space, to move into these dreams. And now we get to do that, with all the women that will give us the opportunity to.
Oh, I love it. I had a conversation with someone today who said, we've never been on a vacation and my Mary Kay business is paying for our vacation. And it just gave me chills. I was like, yes, I love this. I love that Mary Kay not only finances things and pays for vacations, but it gives us experiences, and she will have experiences because of her Mary Kay business and working, like Alden said, WORK, to build that business, to earn the income, to provide experiences for her family. So, all right, it is time to wrap things up. And so, gosh, you guys have heard a lot. I think we could probably talk for another hour and a half easily, probably longer, but we do want to wrap things up and be respectful of your time. And so I'm going to ask each woman here tonight of our panel, I want to know why Mary Kay and why now? You're talking to a lot of women out there. Some are consultants, but a lot are guests who are watching, and maybe they're just here just casually looking. Maybe there's somebody who's curious. What is your advice for somebody? What do you want her to know? Why Mary Kay? Why Mary Kay now? Why would you say that? So Alden, start us off.
Oh, there's so many things that could be said. Honestly, like, I'm so black and white. Like, what do you have to lose? Like Cindy said from the beginning, like $100, $130, whatever it is. What do you have to lose to give it a try? Like, everything, can be taught. Like, you get taught every single thing in this. So what do you have to lose? Like, this is a time frame that we get to share so much hope with people in a time of such despair. And that is something that I think that we need to make sure that we never take for granted. Because that's something that not many people can say, like, I give hope. That's my job. I give hope.
Yeah.
So, what do you have to lose? Like, I would really have every single guest ask yourself, what do you have to lose? And every consultant, what do you have to lose with actually walking out your dreams and goals in your Mary Kay business, or dusting them off, or whatever it might be? Like, what do you really have to lose? Because I bet it's going to cost more not to walk it out than it is to do it. So.
That's so good. Great. I love it. Rachel, what about you? What are your
I would
words
say,
of wisdom?
I think sometimes we make it a bigger thing than it is. Like I was talking to a woman the other week and she was like, well, I love my job. And I was like, that's great. Like, so many people in Mary Kay do a job and are in Mary Kay, and I think we wait for it to be the perfect timing when that's not a thing. Like, that's not a thing. Like, I signed my agreement. I was working 3 jobs and taking 20 credit hours. Like, it was, if you look at it, it was probably like the worst timing, but it was actually the best timing.
Yeah.
Because if I hadn't done it, oh my gosh, like my life would be totally different. So I would just say, I think if you're on this call, I think like this is a sign. If you've been thinking about it for more than 24 hours, I think like just do it for the love of Jesus. Like, just try it.
Just do it. Cindy, what about you?
Yeah, I'll piggyback that, Rachel. No more thinking. Thinking gets us in a lot of trouble. Stay out of here, people.
Yeah.
It's a dangerous place to be. Stay out of here. So, it's funny. This quote keeps coming to me. The part in Harry Met Sally when he runs to her in New Year's and he says, because I discovered I loved you tonight and I wanted our life to begin as soon as it possibly could. That's my answer.
That's good.
My answer is, you guys, because I don't want you to misunderstand what I'm saying. This is going to be so much bigger than you think it is. And I don't mean bigger in terms of stress. I don't mean bigger in terms of time. I don't mean bigger in terms of investment. I mean a bigger life, a more filled heart, a more joyous being. And I want it to start for you as soon as it possibly can. So whether you come in and join us, and we are welcomers. So if you come in to join us just to be part of us socially and hang out with us and be around the positivity and learn about the products and use it on your own face, and that's it, please come. And if you're trying to crush it and kill it, please come be with us. But let's let your life begin as soon as it can. Not that you don't already have a life, and not that you already don't love a job. We're not putting down anything else. We're just saying this can be the cherry on the top of a sundae. And for some people, it turns into the whole sundae. But at least pick the cherry. At least pick the cherry. So that would be my advice. You said, why should they do it now? Because it's more awesome than you can even fathom it will ever be.
All right.
Love
I'll
it.
on that.
All right, Dawn.
All right. So what do you have to lose for the love of Jesus? And I mean, get started. And when Cindy was talking, I was reminded, I've spent a lot of time with Joshua, the story of Joshua. And you guys think about it. God freed his people from slavery. He's pointing them to the promised land. 12 spies go out, 10 come back, and they go, there's giants. The land is great. It's plentiful. You have flexibility. You have work-life balance. You have all the things that we've talked about, but there are giants you're going to have to slay. 10 came back and said, we can't do it. The giants are too big. And 2, Joshua and Caleb are like, there are giants there, but God's promised us this land. You guys, when Rachel shared that there's probably a reason that you're on this tonight, I believe that is true. God is very purposeful. He's very strategic, and he's very creative. And you have been praying for something, either for you or for someone in your life. This is either for you, and it may be blowing your mind because the promised land, you thought it was going to be this job, this industry, this education, this state, this relationship. And now you're going, this is it? You guys, don't be the 10 that came back and perished and made a 40-year journey of 14 days. Be the 2 that go, all right, I'm doing it. I'm doing it. This looks different. This is crazy, but a good crazy. Like I could tell, you can tell good crazy, right? There's a lot of bad crazy. Like you can tell there's a huge difference. Be clear. Ask for discernment on that if you don't know the difference between good crazy and bad crazy. We're good crazy. But you want to, because I've been, after 35 years, Mary Kay always said, be a glad I did versus a wish I had. But I've met women 10, 20, 30 years down the line. God knows what's around the corner. He knows what's around the corner for all of us tonight and tomorrow. And these women have been so sad because they're like, this happens in their life. What if I would have started my Mary Kay business? I would have different choices. Right. What if? You guys, don't be her. Don't be her. Worst case, save 50% on your own products and eat the cherry. Best case, be prepared for whatever God intersected this conversation with you. Be curious. It's worth $130. Why? Why are you hearing this as a consultant? Why are you hearing this as a guest? It's worth $130. You spent $130 on stupider things. I guarantee you.
Absolutely. I love that. Be curious. That's so good. So, okay, Rachel, I want you to share with everybody what does this look like? If they're like, yep, let's do this. Can you share with them next steps?
Yeah, so there's 2 ways a person can actually, start Mary Kay. And I'm going to tell you all about the better way first. Because if a person's intention is to make money in this business, I always tell them it's $130 because you get $450 worth of full-size product for $130. That's like going into Target and them saying, hey, if you spend $130, I'm going to give you $450 worth of stuff. Like that's crazy. So they give you both formulas of the skincare, all 5 shades of CC cream, eye makeup remover, mascara, satin hands, like all that. We call it a party in a box because it's a party in a box. On top of that, a person gets their own Mary Kay website for free for an entire year that they don't have to maintain. I'm not tech savvy at all. I had to type in my name and my phone number and it was set up. I was like, that's great. You also get ProPay for free for your, which is like what we used to swipe people's credit cards. You get that for free. That's everything with the $130. The other option is a $30 option. You don't get a party in a box. You do get your own Mary Kay website for a year, and you do get pro pay. So those are two different options, the 130 or the 30.
Wow. The difference that 130 or a $30 investment can make in your life. Just be curious, because you never know how the power of pink could impact your life, your kids' life, your spouse's life, your friends. I mean, you just have no idea. And hopefully this incredible conversation tonight has given you a sneak peek into Mary Kay and how it's turning the world pink and changing lives all over the globe because women are saying yes to trying. So thank you for being here with us. We so enjoyed your chats, and it was just a perfect night. Thank you for being here. We pray you're thinking pink and that you say, let's take the leap of faith. Let's be a glad I did instead of a wish I had, because God put it in your path for a purpose and a reason tonight. So we just encourage you to step out on faith, and we're sending you big hugs from the Mary Kay world to say congratulations. Welcome to our family. Thanks, everybody. Have a great night.
Thanks, you guys. Have a great night.
Hi, everyone.
Bye, y'all.